Nisambula again, children. Vinaka vakalevu for listening in to my Talano session. And this video will be talking about the topic of tsunami. This is my third Talano session. And this is Dr. Teresi Vunindilo logging in from Hawaii. I hope that you are well wherever you are listening from. So I'm sure a lot of us have been discussing the topic of tsunami, maybe at school, but also over the last couple of days as to what has just happened in the Kingdom of Tonga, but also in the various other places around the world and around the Pacific that was affected. Here we are looking at this big Pacific Ocean that we all call home. The Pacific Ocean, as we all know, is the largest and deepest ocean in the world. Did you know that? And did you know that the deepest point in the Pacific Ocean is the Mariana Trench? It is located in the northern part of the Pacific. The size of the Pacific Ocean is 63.8 million square miles, and it covers more than 30% of the Earth's surface. I'm sure some of you may have seen tsunami signs around the place where you live in. This is a picture that was taken in British Columbia in Canada. And this picture reminds us that tsunami is indeed a hazard for many of us. And so it is very important that we adhere to the rules and guidelines of where we live so we can be able to save our lives as well as others. The main question that many of us often ask is, what is a tsunami? The tsunami is a large ocean swell usually caused by two things: an underwater earthquake or a volcanic explosion. Did you know that the word tsunami is a Japanese word and it means harbor wave? Now, this large wave is caused by the movement of the Earth's crust. Remember on my first video, I was talking about how the Earth is shaped and how is it formed. And one of the words we used was crust. And because the crust moves, it also makes the ocean water move. And so it's really important that we understand what happens, especially below the sea. So this is what it looks like. As you can, if you take away the water or the ocean, the bottom of the ocean looks like this. There are a series of volcanic ridges and underwater volcanoes that explode, and some has been dormant for so many years. Dormant means like they are sleeping, that they may have exploded a few years ago or many years ago, but they're not active. And so in my previous video, I talked about the earthquakes that are caused by volcanic eruption. Yeah, so I just want to show it again because this is related to tsunami. And how does it generate a lot of volume of water? This is what happens. Okay, so the magma rises through the center of the earth, through the vents. The crust started to move. Earthquakes start to happen. And of course, it affects the water or the ocean above it. The movement of that water, depending on the size of the earthquake, can cause tsunami. And this picture here clearly explains, in terms of volcanoes, how the tsunami is generated, especially when the volcano has a lot of things coming from inside, and then it starts to spill out. Okay? As soon as it spills out, it pushes water from either side of the eruption, and that can cause instability in the water. and sometimes explosions happen, just like how it happened in Tonga. And so the tsunami is generated as a result of that. So that's one cause, the volcanoes. What about the earthquakes? One of the points here that we need to know, that if the earthquake is big, then the wave is going to be big as well. Okay, so the big tsunamis usually begin in the very deep ocean, where there's large volume of water, and this large volume of water often are displaced. And as the waves started to move closer to the shore, it gets taller and taller because the ocean is getting shallower. Okay, so there's more volume that was way out there, and it's coming closer to the land. And so this is a reminder. If you happen to be in a place where water recedes or it moves away from the coast, and then the whole area is dry, especially after an earthquake, that's a sign that a big tsunami is on its way. Because what happens is when there's an earthquake, the water goes inside. There's a space on the bottom of the ocean, or on the top of the bottom of the ocean, and on the floor of the ocean is what I'm trying to say. Okay, and it looks like this. These are some things that we must remember. That the earthquake travels very fast. Okay, and it can be hundreds of feet tall. It is very dangerous for the people that are on the beach and those who are even far away. Okay, so the key is you have to get away to a higher elevation. Okay, so as you can see here on this picture, usually when the water recedes, it often goes into that gap. Okay, and then it comes out again, and then it returns. And when it comes, that's what makes a tsunami. Tsunami is very destructive and can even knock down buildings, villages, take people's lives as well as animals and any living thing or anything that is on its path. Okay, so it's very important that we are alert to what is happening around us. But there's a reminder here that not all earthquakes or volcanic eruption cause tsunami. There are two causes of it, but not all of them causes tsunami. Two things: the shape of the ocean floor, they can determine if a tsunami is going to happen. Also the distance and the direction of the earthquake. Okay, interesting, right? For us to know and appreciate the science behind the tsunami. Yeah, so it depends on all of that: the shape of the ocean floor, the distance, and the direction of the earthquake, okay, or the volcano. Now, this is another question: how do we know if there's a tsunami? Now, we're very fortunate these days that we have technology like this one, which is the multi-angle imaging spectroradiometer, which is a NASA tool that helps us or helps the scientists determine the size of the tsunami from space. Okay, so it has 9 cameras, and it all points slightly in different directions so that they can be able to see the direction and the size of the tsunami. So thanks to this kind of technology that helps us, right? And there's also the tsunami warning system in the Pacific. The Pacific Tsunami Warning System here was established in 1949, and it really helps in detecting abnormal changes in sea level and detecting earthquakes in the region. And it really helps scientists determining whether a tsunami has been triggered by an earthquake. So this is the picture of what happens. So if you look at the number here, the detection of the earthquake here, and then the transmission of the data all the way here. So it's really nice to see that that all of these steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 are involved. So there's the satellite, as we talked about before, but there's also these processes. Underwater volcano detected, acoustic transmission, data is processed, data is transmitted to satellites, alert center broadcasts alert to the authorities and the media, and people like us are alerted. Okay, so sometimes people get a text on the phone or information through the radio and other means. So it's really good that this is now in full force. Okay, and it was established in 1949, and it's located here in Honolulu in Hawaii. And there's some alert here. When the alert goes out, 3 things that must happen. People who are close to the sea, they have to get off the beaches and head for high ground. 2, stay away from rivers flowing into the ocean. 3, wait for the all clear. There would be several giant waves in succession. Okay, this is a really interesting point, because usually there's not just one wave but more. Okay, more than one. So it's really important, if you stay away as much as possible, don't rush to come back down. Okay, so these are some of the technicalities that we need to be reminded of. And my last slide here encourages us to keep learning about the tsunami. Let's share and care all the information that we can, so that we are able to be more familiar and being aware of what we should do. So these are some pictures that talks about, the height of the tsunami waves and what we need to do. Okay, and why it is large as it is what we've been discussing. Yeah. And on this side is a poster in California. And this is something I would like to encourage as many nations around the world to do, including many islands in the Pacific. Since many of our nations are prone to tsunamis, is to create this kind of poster so that we are all aware of what to do. Okay, see, it says here, tsunami basics. Okay, what is a tsunami? Where does it happen? How does it happen? Okay, feeling what it is involved in terms of the process of tsunami. See and hear, so you can see that there's all our senses involved. So we have to be really, really alert. The most important thing is respond. Action. Do something. When you're told to leave, run, go to high grounds, do it. Do it straight away. Okay, and also here at the bottom are the different tsunamis that happened over time. So please spend some time to read up about it. Okay, read it with your parents at home, your siblings, your school, so that we are all aware of it. This is a tsunami in the 1700s, 1812, 1946, 1964, and 2006. Okay, so I hope that my talanoa today has informed you all on the information about tsunami. So all the best with your further research and acknowledging the sources that helped me put this video together. Thanks to the National Aeronautics and Space Administration in the US for their information that they've shared for children, Google, Wikipedia, and all the information that I was able to gather online. And of course with the Smithsonian Museum that I enjoy utilizing their resources. Thank you so much, children. Thank you so much for listening, and all the very best. And until my next video, this is Dr. T from Hawaii, Vinaka, vakalevu, and Lisama.